I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back into Pregaming here at Sports Money, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We don't stop. We just keep on rolling down the tracks, time to take this money from the bookies. And I know you guys feel the same way, so we got a lot of work to do tonight. We got a really nice card, a full NHL slate, a pretty meaty NBA slate, and a couple of college basketball games to boot. So the question is, just how wide do we go in this card tonight? I'm pretty fired up for it, though. I got a nice little NHL parlay for you guys. I got a bunch of action I want to get involved with here. Dallas, Toronto, Philly, Columbus. We've got the Anaheim Ducks and the Washington Capitals. You'll see them over there, firmly positioned in primary position number one. Then we're going to move to the NBA. We're going to lace up the high tops and cover the OKC Philadelphia spot. We're going to go Sacramento Kings and the Bucks. We got the Nets and the Blazers. Then we'll wrap her up. Texas A&M and some Kentucky. We'll go Marquette and DePaul, and we'll put a bow on the show. Unless I had two more plays. A lot of cash out there tonight, though, so I'm eagerly anticipating a big evening. We got to bounce back after last night. Show-wise for the month, we're still up almost 17 units. And look, only thing that's been hotter than this place is crypto. Show me a show that puts you in a 10% gain on almost every single day. And I'll tell you, they're full of it because we track this stuff publicly over there at BetStamp. You can see every single play, every single day that I make out there and share with the Sports Money Network. And pretty proud of that. 10% plus. I think it's around 11% overall. Every single day. We're going to have some losses. But in the compound, in the aggregate, you're not going to make more money than that any place else. It's real money we're playing with here. That's why it's so important to scrub the card and not just throw some, arbitrary hip shots out there. But last night definitely hurt. Last night's stuff. I'll tell you. Fortunately, I didn't waste a lot of time in that nonsense LA Rams game. Clearly, Minnesota Vikings are bad. Sam Darnold, and you know what strikes again. Fading the team the week after they played Detroit continues to be profitable. And I'm hoping this week. I am hoping this week the Commanders go in there, knock down them Lions, and the Eagles get their job done. We got Eagles Commanders. We're fade the Commanders. We got the Eagles ride them all the way into the Super Bowl. Let's go. Excited for that. And of course, we got some great NFL matchups across the board. So going to be a lot of fun. Tough schedule spot for the Rams. They had the Monday night special and had lots of relocation and all kinds of things going on with those wildfires out there. But now they got to play the early Sunday game. So they will be coming in on short rest to Philadelphia. A rowdy and ruckus playoff environment should be in that Sunday night game there, the 6 p.m. special between the Bills and the Ravens. Let's go. That's going to be a ton of fun, too. I care less about the Saturday games, but there'll still be some fun. We'll still put some money on them. We're going to be betting the UFC. The Saturday live stream goes on. And speaking of the UFC, hopefully you guys got to check out Ramon Scott and VB MMA Picks, their special guest this week. Dagestani Poppy? Is that who it is? I think that's who I saw. Nonetheless, that boy swept the board last week. Don't miss out. Dog. 8. Bet. You don't want to miss out. They go after it again. 3 fights out there for you guys in your early preview for UFC 311. Of course, we'll be in there popping UFC First Strike tomorrow. And the deal is, before we even go any further, take a moment. Help me wish MMA Jeff 19. Our guy, MMA Jeff, a happy birthday today. His birthday is today. If you guys could kindly take a second to either reach out to him on DM or pop it on Twitter, that would mean a lot. Appreciate that. January 14th, baby. He ain't no baby, but he's got a birthday, so appreciate that. Hope he has a great night tonight. Not sure what they have planned, but I'm sure MMA Ashley's got something up the sleeves to make sure he celebrates and has a good night. So anyhow, let's get to work. Let's talk about this recap. Let's pivot and see what the chat's got going on. Then we will launch this puppy. We got to move quickly because there are a lot of games out there and not a lot of time to cover them. So hockey did us well. Again, hockey continues to be our horse. We got the Philadelphia Flyers plus 158. Nice 4-3 win. They didn't quit. Down 2-0. Battled back to tie it. Down 3-2. Battled back to tie it. Came out on top 4-2. Big plus 158. And we got the LA Kings. We got the under 5.5. 1-0. Yeah, that's another plus money spot. So the NHL gave us some plus money goods. Then we go to college. It was 1 and 2, I believe, in college hoops here. We had the under Texas Southern, 137.5. They got to 135. A little sweaty, but it cashed. Loyola Maryland got busted up, 73-54. And the game that hurt my feelings, just as a personal note, this was the difference between a winning day and a losing day, was Alabama A&M. Triple overtime. They were leading pretty much that whole game. They were leading in overtime 1. They somehow let Jackson come back and tie it up. They're leading in overtime 2. Winning outright with plus 8.5. They go into overtime 3. They lose by 10. That hurt my feelings. It was disgusting. It was inappropriate. It was unprofessional and everything else that goes along with it. However, we nailed that Toronto Raptor spot plus 5.5, 104-101. Money in the bank. We missed our parlay. We missed the plus 628. So, we lose the unit, but arguably we took a big swing with that plus 628, and that could have been a game changer for us. And then Houston got busted. Well, Houston didn't get busted up. They just didn't cover the spread. They didn't even cover the early number. It was 2.5. It moved to 3.5. They won by 2. So that's how we end up with being down a unit on the day. It's going to happen. Not going to win them all, but it was disappointing, especially coming off a big Friday and a huge weekend. So we got to fight back. We got to dig in. We got to get going. We got a bunch of plays out there tonight that need to come home. They need to come home for us. I think they will. I'm excited to talk about these plays that we have, but you know the deal. First and foremost, we got to work as a community to build this community. That comes by you guys taking a second to hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, you're going to want to close that chat, smash that thumbs up, and then pop that chat back open so we can go to work. Need your guys' help to grow this thing. And you do so by taking a second to show some support. Any way you can show the support. We're member supported. We love memberships. We love donations. We love super stickers. We really love you guys taking that time to smash that thumbs up button for us. Okay. I'm ready to go to work. I hope you guys are as well. We're going to fly through this thing because there are a bunch of plays, and there are going to be some of them that are starting early. So we want to make sure everybody has time to get them in. So get your pens and paper ready. The best chat in the business assembles right here. They're going to share their best bets, their look aheads, their insights, all that fun stuff that goes into strategizing on how to smack the bookies this month. And it starts right now, right here at Pregaming and Sports Money. So get that pen out, get that paper out. And of course, put your best bets in the chat. You know, commenter number 1 rolls through here heavy. It's Jover. J-O's got an over for us. He's got the Kraken Penguins first period over 1.5, and he's adding to it the Detroit Red Wings team total over 3.5 for our guy Jover, J-O. And I gave him a shout out. I gave him a pre-game shout out for my man Joe T, rocking with us out there, contributing in a big way for us out there, managing that community tab, helping us grow this thing, putting his plays out there, of course, why the hottest damn polls in the business. You find them over there on that community tab. Thank you, Jover. We'll move him back to 99.4% first comment ratio. 99.4. He dropped to 99.3 the other day. We'll move him back to 99.4. That's what we'll do for our man. Robert McCormick's here. David Wallace and Old E. You guys rock. Thank you for coming in. Here's Keith. Keith's dropping some action for us. He likes the Kings and the Bucks game to go under 227.5. We're going to cover that game. Interesting. Is it 22 out of 23 times these teams have played, it's gone over the number? I thought that was interesting. That's a lot of overs. Shout out to you, Keith. Appreciate you rocking with us. Philly Eagle Flyer. Redbeard's in the house. He likes Mississippi State plus 7.5. Love to see that. Shout out to Joe W. There's our guy, Subhuman Gaucho. He's rocking with us here. Kenny Woods in the house. Good to see Ken. There's Nicholas Handy. He's rocking. Turnsey says, I'm 33 tomorrow. Well, happy pre-birthday, Turnsey. We'll make sure to make a note of that and wish you the best tomorrow. And Redbeard's giving Jeff a happy 50th. It's not 50. Not yet. Shout out to T. Moss. It's good to see you back here, my friend. And there's Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly's in the house. Got over 9.5 rebounds at plus 290. Whoa. You know, speaking of rebounds, going back to that Scotty Barnes spot, I don't know, Dan Kelly, this made me think about it, though. Got greedy. His over 8.5 was plus 120. Could have just closed up shop and took that big number, but I love the rebounding props. Those are some of my favorites. I appreciate you sharing. Dan Kelly, thanks for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Daddy Beats is here. Nunya says, cheers, boys. Hit the like. It's going to be a good night. There's Barry in the house. Redbeard says, Panthers money line. Panthers team total over 2.5. Full game under plus 400. Whoa. Appreciate Thomas Lewis says, we're listening, Mike. Appreciate you, dude. And NJ Striker likes Kentucky minus 6. I do as well. I'm going to the total, but I like that side. I almost parlayed the total and the side, but lesson learned from yesterday. Thomas Maggio's in the house, says OKC money line. Zion over 26.5. Points and assists. I don't know. I had the wire short circuit there for me. Usually I'm used to seeing the RM, but I got it. I got you, Thomas. Appreciate you rocking, my dude. Elliot Jameson's here, says Philly Eagle. What do you have good on hockey tonight? There's Elliot Jameson rocking, though, and Thomas Lewis gives the thumbs up as well. Coin like Xavier. He's got a little Xavier action tonight for Coin at minus 3. And there's our dude, Joe Dub, coming through with the super sticker. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Blessing our action tonight. As we launch this ship off the dock, let's go. I still got to build the dono button. I still owe that to you, Joe Dub. The Joe W. Memorial Dono button. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for blessing our action and just being here on a regular basis, dude. Appreciate you taking the time to commit to helping us grow this community. That means a lot. Love seeing your name out there every single day. Daddy Beats. Like Xavier minus 2.5. Kentucky minus 7. Auburn minus 7.5. And Alabama minus 12. And Marquette minus 12.5. And plus 24 to 1 parlay. Huh. All right, I get down with that. Good luck, Daddy Beats. I'm just trying to process it so I can root you on. There's Jay Peasy. Shout out to Jay Peasy. Gave me a tennis parlay winner. Nice little plus one. I think I cashed a plus 112 on it. Jay Peasy, you the man. Appreciate you, brother. Mitch Morber says, what's up, Mike? Streak for y'all. Hawks are on a 10-0 money line streak against the Suns at home. Wow. That I did not know. Interesting. So what's so important about some of these streaks and trends is when they get to live betting positions, right? If they're up big, so be it. But if they go down, we know 10-point swings can be gobbled up in a second. So when you guys see some of these big trends out there and you're maybe looking to live bet something or you want to sprinkle a little action or parlay something with a game later on, if you can catch a spot, maybe the Hawks go down early to the Suns. But it looks like they're just kicking their butt. So why not take a shot? Maybe just something to think about. Just some alternate ways. I love those kind of things, Mitch. Thank you for sharing. Philly Eagle Flyer says he probably the Caps, the Jackets, and the Wings over 5.5 for a plus 285. Appreciate you guys, man. Let's go. It's work time, boys. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate everybody. Again, take a second if you haven't already. Smash that thumbs up button. We got to go. We don't have enough time to wait, so let's just pop right off. I'm going to go. This is going to be probably more of a rapid fire tonight than we are accustomed to. But if you're tuning in after the fact, then take a look on the side. Look for the yellow notation to see which games we're on. There's a lot of early games tonight. And then I tried to come up with a couple. I mean, listen, sometimes the schedule works out the way the schedule works out. I don't like to be too heavy at like 12 p.m. on a Saturday. That's like the kiss of death for me if I'm super heavy. And same thing with 7 o'clocks. I don't like to be overly involved. I feel like that's the fire drill. That's where the books make a ton of cash because, you think about it. You're just getting home from work. You're watching a show. You're doing some research. Like there's a rush to get those plays in. And sometimes you don't have time to fully analyze. Whereas when you get to those 10 o'clock games, well, shit, you're just sitting there all evening watching. Well, I know you're not just sitting there, but for conversation purposes, you're sitting there all night looking at those games, checking things out, the lowdown. You analyze those for 4 hours. Of course, you're going to have a better result than the 45 minutes you get to spend looking at that 7 o'clock window. So that's kind of, look, I spent all day looking at the 7 o'clock window. So nonetheless, that's a methodology of how I try to approach the card. I like to have a little here, a little there, a little throughout the evening as well, because you don't want to get to 10 o'clock and you got nothing to root for. What are you going to do? What are you going to do at that point? But we're going to pop off and start with a parlay as we kick this card right in the nuts. How about that? We're going to go with a little Tampa Bay and, whoops, excuse me. I just changed gears. Tampa Bay and Colorado Avalanche. Just for simplicity's sake here, what I'm going to tell you guys is these are both priced over minus 140s. This is an absolute fade spot on Swayman. I'll talk about it in a second. We've got Vasilevsky going in goal on the Tampa Bay side of things. And he's playing phenomenal. 2.33, 91.4%. Swayman, Bruins just came off of a 6-game losing streak. Swayman did save 40 of 43 shots. Uncharacteristic for Swayman over that aforementioned Florida Panthers team. Now, the Florida Panthers are in the struggle bus right now. Ain't going to be any easier playing them New Jersey Devils tonight, especially with their backup goaltender out there. But goaltender's number one. And Tampa Bay, 3-0-1 in their last 4. So they're battling. Specifically when it comes to this Tampa Bay side of things, though, this is more of a fade. This is more of a fade of Boston. I like to buy on Tampa Bay with some of the stats and things that are going on out there, but NHL goalies, in this case Swayman, coming off a win as a dog, and they had over 40 saves, are just 4-25 the following game. They're on a 14-game losing streak on top of that. And Swayman, it kind of says like the goalie stole the game, right? Played phenomenal, stood on his head, and they can't back it up. And Swayman ranks 28th of 34 goaltenders. Bruins haven't covered the puck line in any of their last 11 Tuesday games as well. Now they are in the dog roll, which would be plus 1.5, which means Tampa should put boots to ass. That's where we're starting. Then we're going to roll on up, and we're going to talk about this Colorado spot. Why Colorado? How did Colorado fit in there? Well, there's some trends that we're looking at. The deal. We're trying to make some calculated decisions here. And again, slapping these two together. Now, listen, play them individually. I certainly support that. I like them enough to put them together as a parlay. And again, getting just a better return on our investment because we have a wider card. We have a goaltender battle in Shesterkin and Blackwood. Shesterkin, Rangers have won 3 of their last 4. They're 3-0-1. Shesterkin's been playing better. They got rid of Trouba. They gave Shesterkin a little bit of a break. He's coming back. He makes 29 of 30 saves. That was his game against Vegas. Now, if you believe in the Vegas flu, this is the game for you. Because we've got this Rangers team coming out of, I swear I didn't plan that. It's just somehow, that's just the way it eloquently rolled off my tongue. And look, the Vegas flu basically is one of those factors where the first year in existence, it was absolutely a fact. You're in Vegas. You party a little bit. You have a couple cocktails. Maybe the boys are planning to go to a club. Maybe you sat around playing blackjack until the wee hours of the morning, until the bus left the station to go back to the airport. Who knows? But I do know the Avalanche are coming off a 3-0 shutout. And what do we like to do after a team is coming off a shutout? We like to fire on them. Now, furthermore, this Colorado Avalanche team with Blackwood's got a 2.51 goals against average and a 91.9% save percentage. Blackwood's not the problem. 26 of 28 saves. Still lost, but they just didn't score. And that's kind of the deal with the Colorado Avalanche. They win one, they lose one. They win one, they lose one. At least as of late, they're not able to kind of dig in and find some substance. But We just talked about how the Bruins don't like playing on Tuesdays. Guess who does like playing on Tuesdays? The Avalanche. They won 9 straight Tuesday games. But the more important spot for me was a situation where we've got a nice little 19-3 trend rolling. If you were on the road and you're back home, you outshoot and you outscore your opponent, and it's non-conference opportunities. It's 19-3. Makes a lot of sense. You were just traveling. You're back home. You got home cooking. You're outsshooting. You're outscoring your opponent, and it's not conference games. 19. It means you don't see the team very often. 19-3. Vegas flew. Tuesday night hockey. Beating up an opponent because you outshoot and outscore them. Non-conference opportunities. That's how we arrived at this Tampa Bay Colorado Avalanche parlay. It's the most sound piece I can give you guys when it comes to trying to go quickly and talk about these spots. I think they make a lot of sense. You guys will have to decide for yourselves. Nunya. Appreciate Nunya coming in here. We're rocking, we're rolling, man. But we are standalone entity, my friend. We are rolling, brother. Let's go. L. Jameson says Kentucky's dropped to -6.5, and he's on it. Nunya says Philly Eagle, what's your number one NHL play? I'll parlay it up. I'm curious with that, too. You know what I thought about, you guys? Nunya, you tell me, speaking of parlays, maybe it's not quite a parlay, but I like when Ramon he gets the consensus report, right? He gets the consensus parlay. I was thinking about posting a consensus show play. I got to think about the logistics. Maybe I'll connect with Ramon and talk about it. Maybe I can talk with Jover. But Nunya, when you said that, that just made me think about that, because how many folks are out there looking to do something just like that? I got a play I want. Just give me something else to parlay it with, and that's kind of what I was thinking about. That was rolling through my head. Shout out to Rick J. Philly Eagle Flyer likes the Caps puck line. Elliot James says, let's go. Mike. SB Patrick, the Groovy Alien, says, greetings, Pimp Slap. Thanks for the UFC winners. Let's stay steady moving. Let's go. Irish King says Tampa Bay -1.5. I mean, that's what the numbers suggest. I just found a creative way to get there at +183. Look at this. Remember I mentioned that poll? Hottest poll in the business. The way you utilize that poll, if it was me and I was you guys, and I do this myself, take a look. Now, we're not the public. We're sharp. We have literally been developing since October of 2023 with these trends and stats and angles and all the movement and injuries. So we got over, 15 months, 16 months under our belts that we've been working together building this thing. So when I look at the public, I don't consider us the public by far, and this updated poll shows it. So when you're looking to see which way the sharpest chat in the business is aiming, shoot on over to that community tab and see what they have to say about this particular game. Whatever that game happens to be. Jover usually gets those primetime games in there, or big marquee games. He's great with the big marquee games as well. Turns he likes the Rangers. Philly Eagle Flyers is on a few draws. Leafs, Devils, Isles, Caps. Elliot Jameson says ECU North Texas game is going over. I'm about at that game. Whoever Jay think North Texas will beat us, unfortunately, I'm pulling for my Pirates. ECU for Elliot Jameson. Jay Main says Tampa Bay 5-2. Avs 5-0 on Tuesdays this year. Rocket. Did take Tampa Bay -1. Redbeard -1.5. Rolling. Jay Main says I'm adding Calgary in that too. Okay. Oh, you guys, man. Thank you guys for rocking with us here. Juggler's giving us NBA a team scored less than 130 points and has a greater than 55% win rate and lost their previous game at home. Teams are 27-3 against the spread, which is a 90% win. Whoa. Hell yeah, we work together. Let's go. Beat these books, my friend. JP says, I'm tailing that money line parlay. Bruins missing McAvoy and Coyle is sick. Avs at home after being shut out. Fuck yeah. It's well said. I like this one here. Teams that just played their previous team at home and lost and are playing the same team again are 46-10-1. Bounce back. Revenge. It's one of the best angles in the business. I appreciate you sharing. All right, we got to go. We got to go. Messy Nate. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, members only shows. If you don't start hitting the like, you bastards. Please hit that thumbs up button, guys. That's all we ask you to do. We're all working together, as our man Nunya said. We're trying to beat these books. You know what happens? You smash that thumbs up button, we attract new eyeballs. Those are sharp cappers because they're all of the same demographic. That's what YouTube algorithm does, and it happens when you guys smash that thumbs up button. So Let's go. Let's move on. So I was going to keep a brisk pace. I detoured. We're going to talk Dallas Stars and Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll tell you right off the gate, this is part of the Sharp Respected Betting Report. I share that because it has been absolutely dynamite in the NHL. Why? Think about it. We talked about this how many times, you guys? The NHL is like a sharp betting sport. It's not for the average. You're either a fan or you're a sharp son of a bitch. Period. It rivals the WNBA in number of tickets being written. And that means when somebody comes in and drops a boatload of cash, it gets eyeballs. That's why I believe this Sharp report has been respected. Better report's been so fire. And we got Jake Ottinger. He's 21-9 on the season. Joseph Wall is likely. Let me refresh. The Maple Leafs are struggling right now. They're getting outscored 9-3 in their last 2 games, and that's good enough to go 0-2. Yeah, I still show likely. The Stars just had a winning streak snapped by the Ottawa Senators. Now, I can suspect or surmise that had a lot to do with, well, the fact that they got Toronto coming up. Ottawa Senators, you can move past Ottawa, especially after that lengthy back-and-forth road trip. We talked about some of those shit spots that they were in. But Ottinger's been on a 5-game winning streak. Ottinger's allowed 3 or fewer goals in 4 of those 5. And that spells trouble for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Furthermore, when you kind of look back at this thing and you just kind of looking at some of the numbers in the goaltenders here, look, you never want to play a game based on it's their due angle. But you guys tell me, I mean, Toronto's not scoring right now. We had Dallas in the look-ahead spot with this suspected look-ahead spot with this Toronto game on deck. They're not going to fuck around with customs, right? Because they were already up there in Canada. And now you got the team price as a favorite on visiting ice when they've lost to that team 7 straight times. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, they don't play that often, so this one stretches back. But Dallas has been dominated by Toronto 7 straight games, and yet they're opening up as a favorite. They've taken a little action against them, a little bit. But I got to go with the buy-on spot here. I think this team wants to get back to their winning ways. I think the glitch in the radar was that look-ahead spot against the Ottawa Senators. And it's good enough for me to want to jump in. I think this is a reasonable price point. There's a reason that they're a favorite on the road. Furthermore, you want to talk about bounce back? We just talked about Ottinger on his nice little 5-game streak, and he's allowed 3 or fewer goals. The last time he played the Toronto Maple Leafs, he got busted up 4 goals on 12 shots. That was almost exactly a month ago. That was December 18th. So he's got to be motivated coming into this thing. You got to imagine they want to go out there and kick the shit out of him. And then on the flip side, Wall has been struggling. 5 goals on 33 shots. Carolina Hurricanes lost 6-3. Good enough for me. I'm going to take this Dallas Stars team. We're going to keep this thing rolling, you guys. Yeah, Chris Ella. Yeah, he's struggling against them for sure. And yet they open as a favorite. What do you think? Look at Cameron Sinet says, just watch the VB MMA show. Says, good work, Ramon. Man, them boys swept the board with dogs last week. You got to respect that, huh? Got to respect that. Man, we are growing. Listen, we're going to rock. Wait till you guys see the stuff that we have coming down the pipe. We're not done yet. We're adding more content. But the trick is, it's got to be qualitative content. We're not just adding shows to add shows. You go somewhere else for that kind of stuff here. We want to give you guys strategies to win more bets. There's a reason I can come out here and say that we're growing at 10%. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. You know, if you're a $300 bettor and you're growing $300 a game, that's $100,000 a year. That's a fact. Do the math. Now let's aggregate. Some days we're going to have 10-unit days. Some days we're going to have 2-unit, 3-unit losses. Ideally, we don't go down that well too often. But nonetheless, let's go to this well here and let's look at this Flyers game that we cashed on last night. After going against the Blue Jackets. I don't normally go in a route like this. However, I'm doing this tonight because I think it makes sense. What do we have last night? We had a big Flyers comeback. Emotional drain. They had to go out there. They had to fight this team all the way down to the wire, and it went to overtime, if I'm not mistaken. It was overtime. Or was it the very end of the game? I don't remember. Short-term memory on my wins. Long-term memory on my losses. Probably isn't the way to reconcile this thing long-term. But they're going back to Ivan Fedotov, the 7-foot monster. I don't think he's actually 7 feet, but he's a fucking tree in that net. 4, 5, and 2, though. Big tree fall hard. Big tree takes time to swipe. When you're 7 feet tall and you're bringing that glove down, it takes an extra second. And he's been struggling to get that timing down with the NHL with a 3.39 goals against average and an 87.4% save percentage. Now, he does have torch vote confidence, but for how long will be the question out there. 3 goals on 17 shots his last game. 3-2 loss to Toronto. Pulling that 3.4 goals against average ain't going to cut it. And they have that Kolosov as well. So the challenge is going to be how do they roll out there, and this is a rematch spot for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They did beat them 5-4 on December 21st. Other side of things, Tarasov will be going. I thought it was going to be Merzlikins. That was going to be good old Elvis. If it was going to be Elvis, I like the over. But it's Tarasov. He's back. That was some bullshit. Had his conditioning stint with Cleveland. He went 1-1. He had a 2.96 goals against average and 90.8% save percentage. On the season, he's 3-6-1 with Columbus. So this begs the question, are they in a punt formation right now? I don't think so. I think strategically, the general managers and the coaches see something with this Tarasov that they thought this was a position they could bring him back. You got mediocre goalie, kind of match him up with your mediocre goalie, right? That's kind of the first place that we look as we stop on this train. We know that there's a rematch spot, so there should be a little motivation for Columbus. Plus, Tortorella used to coach in Columbus, so there should be that little factor as well. I don't know how much of a factor that actually plays when it comes down to it. You're not in a look-ahead spot. You're at home. Your next game's at home. You got San Jose. No one's looking ahead to San Jose. Unless they're thinking, hey, I'm going to go bring my friends and family here because I'm going to go out there and put up 10 goals. That's the only reason they're looking ahead to San Jose. No one's concerned about San Jose coming to town. Embiid's out. Maxi's out. Paul George out. There's no reason that was 12.5. Anyhow, Columbus, here's the big spot. Now, this is where I say I don't normally go down this route. I can justify why they went from favorite to dog because it's Tarasov and not Merzlikins. So I can justify it. We start there. But the home team in the favorite role playing the same division, and that team they're playing is off a back-to-back. So your same division means you're comfortable with the team. Same division. You're home. We just talked about they got home cooking for the next 2 games. And the other team's got tired legs. Plus, add the emotional drain and travel to it. Those teams are 24-1. They're on a 10-game winning streak. Columbus is that team tonight. Now, the caveat, they should be a favorite. They move to a dog. I'm still going to go with it. I still like the pricing. I'm not going to fuck with a 10-0. They open up as a favorite for a reason. I don't know what the public's seeing, why they're jackhammering away on the Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, they're 19-20. I mean, these teams are 2 comparably priced spots. I'll take the home team and the dog, expecting the tired legs with the travel and that little 21-game trend in our favor, 24-1 game trend in our favor. Give me the Blue Jackets. I realize I got all these banners. Nobody told me I'm not sharing the banners. Worthless. All right, last game I got for you guys in the NHL. We're going to go with this Montreal team, and we're going to look at we're going to go to Anaheim and the Capitals. There's a little tip for you, dude. I do like this Montreal spot. And I'll probably smash away on it later on, but we got a lot of cash out there already, so I got to be aware of that cash flow. You guys know the deal. I like to get around that 10 spot. I know, 10 spot, 10% gain. We're growing. We're on our way to $100,000 a year. And the Ducks just came off a 3-game losing streak that got snapped because they won against Carolina. They're going to Gibson. Johnny Gibson, 7-6-2. But he's got a 2.9 goals against average and a 90.7% save percentage. Capitals roll on. They're going to Logan Thompson. Problem is, Gibson just came off of shitting the bed festival. He allowed 6 goals on 30 shots to the Flyers. That was the shutout. They got shut out 6-0. Do they bounce back? We love to get those teams off of those spots. Blown up. Jesus. I feel like Ramon. They're obviously not watching the show. Rocking. Stop texting. Stop texting me. Text me in an hour. Logan Thompson firing 18-2-3. Tremendous season. Lindgren's the piece of shit in that lineup. Let's remember that. Thompson, clearly the guy. 2.32 goals against average and 91.9% save percentage. How do you, when you look at these two guys, and he's having a phenomenal season, and the Ducks are not with Gibbs, they're comparably priced goaltender numbers. They're comparably, definitely a little bit of an edge to Thompson. But that's because Anaheim's in a rebuild. Furthermore, Thompson just beat the shit out of the Nashville Predators. You guys know that's one of my future teams that I like to be a Stanley Cup contender. He's been firing. He's at home. But we saw them bounce back 6-0 from that shutout loss to the Flyers. They go down, they get their shit together against Carolina. They pick up a 3-2 win. Tight game, lower scoring. I'm going to take the 1.5. What we've seen, and the reason why is that what we've seen from this Anaheim team, a lot of lower scoring games. A lot of tight games, a lot of 1-goal scoring games. And if you want to quantify it, the last 6 road games for the Ducks have gone under the total. So ultimately, if we have a lower scoring expectation, they're firing off unders like crazy on the road. They just got that big win. They're trying to gain some momentum, and they're a 1-goal team. I get the plus 1.5 at minus 110. Say no more. Troy Terry's back in the lineup tonight. That's a big factor. I know MMA Jeff gave us out the first goal scorer for Troy Terry the other day. And I think it was it 11-1? I think it was. Nonetheless, I saw them flashing and dashing across the ice tonight. They're adding pieces back to their lineup, and that's good enough for me to jump in and take this Anaheim Ducks team. Tight game. It's not the spot like we talked about last week where we took the money line and then the under with this one. If anything, there's reason that this should go over. I saw it was a 19-2 over trend in this spot. So I'm not going to fuck with the parlay with the Ducks money line and the under as well. This isn't that spot. I just want to be clear. It's not like last week. Don't get cute. Don't go off the script. There's a reason I didn't add that piece to it. We got a big over trend. If anything, take a look at this Washington Ducks team and on the over. I just think that in the spot with Anaheim, they're going to keep defensive-oriented game. The reason that their save percentage and goals against average is the way it is, regardless of their win-loss record, is because they're playing some defensive hockey, and they're starting to fight around this goaltender. So I like the plus 1.5. We'll take the puck line. Also of note, I wanted to let you guys know here, Vancouver. I like that Vancouver game. About 3 days ago, I told you guys this was a circle spot for me for Vancouver against the Jets. It's not today anymore, and I'll tell you why. Now, it doesn't mean I don't think they're not going to win. I do like the under significantly in that game, 5.5. It's starting to catch some juice. But the note that I wanted to make on that one is the reason it's no longer part of the circle is that Winnipeg did win the other day, or did lose the other day. So you got Winnipeg at home in a bounce back spot. And Chronic is coming back for the Vancouver Canucks. Patrick Alvin announced today that defenseman Philippe Chronic has been activated from the IR. So days of star players come back. We want to punt that down to the next game as well. Whether he plays tonight or not, I still don't like it because I think it's a big bounce back spot for the Jets tonight. Not enough for me to play it, but I think the under might see some of my cash. Just a note as to why I mentioned the other day Vancouver was a circle, and today we're erasing the circle. But we still have a circle. It's just a matter of the Jets. If the Jets had won that last game, yeah, I'd hammer. I'd hammer on Vancouver tonight. I still might get in there a little bit, but I just don't think the play is as strong and great as it was last week. So just a little mental note there for you guys. Some things to look ahead for. Chase J, appreciate you, says I tail all my. You should, man. You can't play 1 or 2. And I was talking to a friend the other day. He's like, I watched your show. I went 0-3. I'm like, bro, I gave out 9 plays. We won 4.5 units. It's like, I went 0-3. What the fuck? You're playing it wrong. You're playing it wrong. So hope, well, at the very least, use this is when you hear some of the things I talk about and why I like certain spots. Maybe that helps you guys move across the finish line. Okay. In the NHL, we don't spend a lot of time talking about cash flow or line movement. A little bit of line movement maybe, but not cash flow, right? We know. It's a sharp sport. I'm going to talk about this one. I locked it in. You guys got to follow me at BetStamp. It's at Mikey Money. When I make the play, you're seeing it out there at real time. And we're going to start with the OKC Thunder and the Sixers. Now, this line has moved. So cash flow is going to be irrelevant here because we had 61% of the bets and 59%. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. 61% of the bets and 59% of the cash on the Sixers. It's gone from 12.5 to 15.5. And I just told you everybody's out. Maxi's out, George is out, Embiid's out. No one's playing. 216.5 is the total. It's dropped, even though we have 83% of the bets and 88% of the cash. So the sample's tainted because the cash flow numbers don't represent, the most immediate spots out there. Now, Oubre will still play. SGA's still going to play. Still going to see Wallace. Still going to see some boys out there. Just not the big front that the Sixers bring to the table on a semi-regular basis. And at first, I was a little concerned. My concern was the OKC Thunder have the rematch on deck. If there's ever a look-ahead spot, we talked about the Thunder being in that 15-0 winning streak. Then we talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers being in the 10-game winning streak. And we faded the OKC Thunder because the Cavs were so fucking dominant at home. And we won. And that knocked the 15-game winning streak off the table for the OKC Thunder. But the OKC Thunder, guess what? Surprise, surprise. After they take down this Sixers team tonight, Thursday, they host the Cleveland Cavaliers. If they're on the road again against the Cavaliers, I might be a little apprehensive about that spot. But they're home. And it's a TNT game. So if you can't get motivated to go back and take down a team that you already lost to just recently, then I don't know what to do with you. But I'll tell you this. Seeing the players moved out of there, seeing the situation as it went down, OKC, two things going on for OKC. They're 15-0 against the spread when they're a favorite, and they had at least 22 assists the last game. So they're seeing the ball, they're controlling the tempo, they're moving it around the court. Until they ran into the buzzsaw that was the Cavaliers, they were on a 15-game win streak. And then after that, they beat New York and they beat Washington. So they're seeing the ball incredibly well. That 15-0 streak is incredibly relevant. Let's put a little cherry on top. This is what got me to move over the finish line. The Scotty Foster effect. I'm sorry, Scotty Foster. Kevin Scott effect in this case. Over 5 seasons, the ref, when he got a team favored, he's rolling them out when they're double-digit favorites. He's 13-0 against the spread. Now that's a 10 to 13-point window. So again, we're kind of bending this just a little bit because they're obviously not 15.5-point favorites. But they should get bust up the Sixers team. And they're going back home to get ready for this for this Cleveland rematch. This is going to be the training ground. And they're going to be able to go out there. And the problem's going to be if you're looking for player props with OKC, they're probably going to be up 20 points in the third quarter and everybody sits in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to play on with OKC before the line had moved. See what Nani has to say. Let's throw in, I think there's some OG still looking to shack up those. There's some real good BNBs real close to the Erica, Flyers first period over. Not a bad look. Not a bad look. Cameron Sedette says Bucks are going to smack them. All right. Let's go. Let's keep. I like this pace here. We're flying. I'm trying to make sure I recognize you guys in the chat. I want to see what plays you guys. I want to see what's going on. I want to be part of the chat. C-Mac's in the house. Says, get paid tonight. There's our brother, C-Mac. C-Mac, we missed you. I know you're doing well. Hope you're having payday, brother. Get that cash, my friend. Appreciate you dropping in here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, C-Mac. I appreciate you guys. Rick J says, Fox over 26.5 points. Sabonis over 6.5 assists. And Nanya says 1 for. All right. Respectfully, I have to disagree with our man here. Respectfully. I said it respectfully. Gotta take the Kings. I'll take the 2.5. 2.5. You guys have seen me do the math before. Every half a point's a nickel. 2.5 should be 25 cents. Well, the money line's 120. So they're missing a nickel. Means take the 2.5 in your back pocket. You're getting the hook. 67% of the bets and 65% of the cash are on the Kings. We got the total dropping like a rock. Now, this is the spot where Keith gave us the under. And I don't disagree. We got 232.5 has dropped to 227s. 83% of the bets and 79% of the cash on the over. And yet it's dropping 5 full points. Even more, 5 with the hook now. And again, 22 of 23 games between these teams have gone over the total. Last game, when we looked at what happened with these Sacramento Kings, excuse me, just clicking as I was thinking. Smoke was coming out of my ears. The big issue that I think we came across here, specifically with this last game, and we were on them. We were on them against the Celtics. They had the Bulls as well. But that De'Aaron Fox factor, he was hurt and he's come back. This guy, I was doing it earlier in the season and he got me in the last game and I should have known better because he was coming back. His first quarter over 5.5 and 6 points has been firing for me the first half of the season. Now he's back and he's healthy and he's back in the lineup and he's got regular rotation. And of course you've got Sabonis. The guy's at least a double-double, if not a triple-double machine. You got the Bucks in inconsistent form. They're just 5-5 in their last 10. And their scoring is down. 112 points a game. You got a fast-paced team in the Sacramento Kings. And they got dudes that can score everywhere. Plus, they've got De'Aaron Fox back, and they were still finding a way to get it done without him. So you're adding more explosive weapons in the lineup. Sacramento's won 7 games in a row. And they currently hold the longest win streak in the NBA. Obviously, Bucks, strong team, no question about it. Do they have the coaching edge or not? I don't know. They are averaging 116.5 points a game, but their differential shows that they're outscoring opponents by almost 3 points a game. They have a strong offense. If their defense can hold in there and find a way to shut down Giannis, then they bust this team up. But for me, I think it is the last basket. I think this one does come down to the last basket. I think this team stays hot. I think they continue this NBA streak that they're on right now. And, when you kind of look ahead and say, well, what are they doing and what's the situation with the schedule? Obviously, you want to take a look. They're going back home, and they're playing Houston. Houston's been dealing with Jabari Smith injuries and all kinds of other factors. They just came off of that 2-point win. So do they, I just think this is a good opportunity. And then they're going to be home for 3 straight games. So close this winning streak down or close this road trip down. You busted up Boston, the best in the, one of the best anyways in the NBA. You busted up the Bulls. You shut down my guy Voos. And now you got the Bucks. You close it out. You go back home and you got yourself a little 3-gamer at home, Houston, Washington, and Golden State. They get everything they got for this one here. It's not even that long a road trip. They're ready to roll. They're going to go out there and punch these guys in the face. I think they keep it rolling. And with that being said, we're going to go back to Voos. We're not going to parlay. We're not going to get cute with Voos this time. This guy's this was like my, we try to find the spots that make sense. He shit the bed last game. There's no question about it. The problem is I thought about the ladder, but we ladder when he doesn't take any threes. He's missed 2 of his last 3, so the prices come way down. We're catching him around $1.20. That's back in the realm of where I want to be. When he starts going hot, they get up to minus 140s. The Kings had his number, and we just talked about the Kings being a hot team. So what was disappointing is he had the whole fourth quarter. I don't think he shot a single 3. So, ultimately at the end of the day, it was Sabonis that shut his ass down. And he doesn't have the – he's playing the Pelicans tonight. Listen, and he's not even playing against Theis. Or I should say he doesn't have – he's got a rookie that he's going to be matched up against here tonight. The matchup screams take a little whack at Voos for a quick unit. We'll slide that one in there against the Pelicans. And then last but not least, we'll keep her rolling across this thing because we've got 2 college basketball games to get to as well. I want you guys to get in on those, so I don't want to miss them. I'll just keep this quick. We got the Nets. We're taking the Nets. I thought about double dipping the Nets. I still might, depending on how the evening transpires. This game is against the Blazers. West Coast business. 7s have moved to 5.5s down to 5s. You have 52% of the bets and only 49% of the cash on the Nets. It's dropped 1.5. Totals on the rise, 216.5 to 218.5. 80% of the bets and 79% of the cash. We know the Nets tend to, I think they weather vane a little bit more to the under in these spots, but ultimately, recent performances as they are, we look at this Nets team, they stink. They've been losing, but they're getting a price point now because they've been losing like they have been. I want to scratch my nose with my pointer finger, but it's missing a half an inch of fingernail, as we talked about yesterday, so it's struggling because I don't have a nail to work with. The Nets will be on their 3rd straight road game. They got busted up against Denver, 124-105. Against the Jazz, they did cover. The Jazz are fucking terrible at home, 112-111. We've talked about that before. Blazers, on the other hand, they're 1-3 in their last 4. They just had a lengthy road trip. They're coming back home. They play Miami. They got busted up by Miami, who, by the way, still is in disarray. Players still insist they don't want to play there. They're still demanding trades, and they still got busted up against Miami. Big spot for me in this game. First of all, we got the line movement correlated with me. So coin flip, but 1.5 comes down. And this is because the Blazers are in a shit position. They're 0-7 as a favorite after a game that they were a dog. They lost 6 of them outright. 6 of those 7 outright. You're catching the Nets. This is a battle of shitbags, and we love to get involved. The underdog has won 5 straight games between these 2 teams when they're in Portland as well. You lose to busted up Miami team that nobody wants to play for. The Nets can certainly come in here and mop the floor with you. I thought about the first half. I wish it was a little bit more, but the underdog has a decided advantage. I wouldn't be afraid to see that this almost feels like Toronto last night. We had that 5.5 or 6 with Toronto. Thought that was a strange line and that it should be a money line position, and they won. Kind of think the same thing about this game. I think there's an opportunity for the Nets to get this cash. So 2 games left, college basketball. So let's move quickly because they are going to start momentarily. Look, I'm on the over in this Kentucky and Texas A&M game. 2 battling squads right now. They should go out there and ball. They have an offensive-oriented game plan. I'll talk to you about some trends in a second here. As far as the line is concerned, it opened at 4.5. It's moved to 6.5s and 7s. It went as high as 7.5, but it's come back. So they hit the ceiling at 7.5. It's come back to 6.5s in some books. And you got 96% of the bets and 88% of the cash on Texas A&M. If that's not a red flag right there, I don't know what is. Now, the high end means that they're expecting this potentially to be, not a 10-point game, right? Because shout out to our guy Billy Brizzy always talks about if you're going to get 8.5. Oh, there you go. There's 7.5. It just moved to 7.5. Right back to 7.5. So there's late buying coming in again on Kentucky. Just happened. So depending on if you shop this thing around, if you want Kentucky, you might still be able to find a 6.5. This total's gone from 157.5 to 156.5. I'll just give you guys the cliff notes here because we're running out of time. How about that? I'll be mindful of everyone's time here. Kentucky's 10-0 to the over when they're a home favorite of fewer than 24.5 points following the spread cover. They go out there, they ball, they score. They're averaging the over, though. The piece for me, it's busting the number out by 18 points a game. And it's a pretty steep number, which means the books are telling you they like an over in this game. And so do I. I'm going to take that spot out there with this one. And then, again, I'm just trying to move quick for you guys because we are running low on time. Marquette. It's DePaul. Let's start there. It's 12.5. It's moved to 13. 77% of the bets, 60% of the cash on DePaul. Totals dropped 2 points from 148.5 to 146.5. You have 63% of the bets and 63% of the cash on the over. It's come down because DePaul stinks. This game's going to be an absolute fucking massacre. It's going to be ugly. When DePaul's a dog of less than 24.5 points, they're 0-10 against the spread. They're not good. Now we talked about the coach, bringing in new players, getting key personnel together. That's fine and dandy, but they're still not good. They're still a bad team. Bad teams we want to fade away on. 0-10 spot for DePaul. We'll take Marquette. They're beefy favorites, and despite the fact that the line opened at 12.5, it's still moving to 13s and on its way up, so we'll take Marquette. I've got one last game. One last here with a little trendy action. Well, trends are our friends until the ends, right? This one's got a little bit of time. This one starts at 8:30. Last game I slid in on the card right before the show started. It's going to be Little Rock and Southeast Missouri. Wouldn't it be right if we weren't betting a shitbag battle here with 62% of the bets and 80% of the cash coming in on Little Rock? It's gone from 2.5 to 1.5. Then we see the totals climbing. 134.5 has gone to 135.5 and even 136s. 44% of the bets. So the public likes the under, but 59% of the cash means there's that differential we're looking for. 15-point differential showing that the bigger bets are coming in on the over. Why? Potentially has a lot to do with the fact that the last 15 night games against the conference for Southeast Missouri have gone over the total of 140 points. We're getting this one at a discount at 135.5, so 136 is the official number I locked in is 136.5. I like that spot. I endorse it. I stand by it. Triple-double stampies. Triple-double stampy. Let's go. JPZ says, in Missouri's 2 road losses, they are 1-1 in the first half. Shout out to Trisha M's in the house. Cats went to the kennel last night. Trisha M. What'd she say? Florida. Oh, she's a Gators fan. Florida first half minus 5.5 and under 155.5. 10.5 full game. She thinks it's a little too high. Gonna try to catch them live. Rick J says, yeah, it does. It does, but short-term memories with the youth that involved in that game. So I think that's a good spot there. Mitch Morber. A little shout out to Mitch Wilson. As Mitch Wilson would say. But we don't get too many Mitch Wilson drops in here, Mitch Morber. I like it. As Mitch Wilson would say, Bucks are going to do some ass slapping tonight, beat up the Kings, and do some ass slapping as if they beat a good team. Give me Milwaukee. Hey, the Algonquins? Native for the good land. Appreciate you guys, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this card unfolds tonight. It's a big one. It is a wide card. Shout out to my guy, Sub. Shout out to Justin McKelvey, says sports money is money. Shout out to Nanya. Rocking with us, Jay's in the house. Anyone have a play? I can put the mortgage on tonight. I'd be careful with that, my friend. We like to spread it wide. You know, I told you, 10% rate of return. That's going to be better than any CD. The only thing that's growing faster than our bankrolls here is crypto. Now, look, put out 9-10 spot, win 1 or 2 games. That's 10%. 1 or 2 games over 500. Don't get me wrong. 60%. 60% win ratio. That's where we want to clip. That's why I don't advocate. I mean, listen, we've seen it. It's documented all across the board. Anytime guys step up, they step back, giving it all away. You don't want to do that, my friend. Be careful. Be careful. Unless you've had way too many cocktails and you're no longer in a position to make sound decisions. That's a different story. But that being said, I appreciate all you guys. Shout out to the gang that came through here. Rick J, Jake, Peasy, John, C-Mac up in the house. Our guy, Nunya, Rockin', Kenny, Wood, Old E, Trisha M. Thank you guys all for coming through. Keith from each and every stride, rocking here with us tonight. Hope you guys have a great night. Get that money to Groovy Alien. Get your money, my friend. How about that? Chase J. Appreciate all you guys, man. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow on behalf of the Sports Money Network. The team, the crew. Shout out to J Dub blessing our action with a $4.99 super sticker. That means a ton to us, my friend. And catch my guy, Ramon Scott, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., the morning steam. Then we're going to roll in. We'll have, of course, pregame. Then we're going to go first strike and get ready to go UFC 311. Can you believe it? We're almost to the weekend already. I know it's only Tuesday. But shout out, happy birthday to MMA Jeff. And hope he has a great night, gets that money. Hope you guys all have a great night and get that money. We'll see you guys